Hi guys, Bobby Gas here. I just did a video where I showed some Chinese kid playing with firecrackers and blowing up manhole covers because of the gases that are inside the sewer system down there, whether it's methane or natural gas that leaked into it, who knows, but it was pretty funny. Anyhow, when I did the video, I put it up on YouTube and it got some views. And one guy, Flash Gordon, asked me to tell me. I told him that I got a pretty funny firecracker story, and he asked me to tell it my next video. So I'm jumping up right now and telling it. Back in the day, in the 50s and the early 60s, we used to have a lot of fires in Toronto because of Firecracker Day. You know, it was all caused by kids and adults, right? Not paying too much attention. And we had one incident when we were kids. I don't know, I'd be maybe 10, 11 years old, somewhere in there, and both my brothers were a year younger than me, you know. My youngest brother was 2 years younger, the other brother 1 year younger, and I had my best friend, this Italian kid who lived up the street, Freddie Carinci. So the four of us are out in the middle of the street, side street, you know, residential area in Toronto, and we're having a war. In them days, us kids used to have wars with the firecrackers and the Roman candles. You'd hold the Roman candles, you know, you'd hold the Roman candles like that and shoot them at each other, right? We used to actually line up back to back like this, walk 10 paces, turn around, light the candle. You used to have a little punk. Well, that's just a little something that used to smolder. Light the Roman candle, and then start shooting at each other. Right. At one time, we're having one of them wars out on the street, and my brother Steve, you know, he gets a shot off, and my buddy Freddie Carinci, it's going right for his face, and he goes, "Oh!" like that, because it was going right for his face, and the little the pellets were, you know, the size of this thing here, and they'd shoot out, and the little pellets, I guess they were about that size or a little bit smaller, come out and it come flying straight at his face, and he went, "Oh!" and honest to God, the pellet entered his mouth, went into his mouth, and then Freddie was going, "Oh!" running around like that the whole on the street, trying to knock this thing that's stuck to the inside of his mouth. You know, and while he's running around with his Roman candle shooting off all over the place, my kid brother Teddy, he had a pocket full of cannons. He had about 8 cannons in his side pocket of his dungarees, blue jeans, and they caught. Like, he had a pair of blue jeans like that, and these cannons, we had 4, 6, and 8 inch cannons, and Teddy had about 8 of them in his dungaree blue jean pocket, like that, right? And they were all stuffed into his pocket like that, right? All these cannons, right? But the wicks were all hanging down on the side, all so that, you know, there was like 6 guns. Pull out a cannon, light it, and then fire it, right? And so they caught. Nobody knew they caught till we heard this great big goddamn explosion, because Freddie was still running around with the Roman candle and, you know, banging his head and everything like that. And then my brothers, and I'll tell you what happened to his pants. You won't believe this. Huge explosion. Look at my kid brother. The side of his leg, he's about 8 years old. The side of his leg is all smoking. And what had happened, you know, pockets, it's just a bag inside the denim, right? So what happened was that from the pocket lip down to about there, all of this outside, about the size of my hand, blew completely off, and the one side of the pocket that was on the outside, the side of the pocket that was the side of the cloth that was next to his skin, stayed there. But everything else just blew completely off of his leg. Honest to God. I don't know if he had a bruise. I can't remember. Maybe he did have a little bit of bruise. But we just laughed our goddamn heads off is all we did. Yeah, we had a lot of fires back then. We used to also take we take these. They're powerful. These cannons. They stopped selling them to us kids or to anybody actually after a while. And we used to make mud balls, big mud balls, and we'd put stones in them, right? And then we'd take the big cannons and we'd stick them in there like hand grenades, light them up, and then you toss them, and hopefully they'd go off when they were still in the air, because then the stones would, shrapnel go around hitting everybody, eh? That trick of a car coming down the street and you light a cannon under a tin can so that the cannon goes up in the air, as the car's driving down the street, you light the cannon and you go hide behind a tree or something, and just before the car comes to the cannon goes off, and the tin can goes about 15, 20, 25 feet up in the air, depending on how big of a cannon you used. And then it comes down, right? And sometimes the cannon, you timed it right, and the cannon would come down on the top of the guy's roof on the car. But that got old after a while, and us kids found better ways to play with fireworks. The good old days. You young fellas got no idea the kind of fun we used to have as kids. But I will tell you, it used to kill us sometimes. And what the coppers and everybody else used to call that in them days, they called it death through misadventure. I was part of that once. Anyhow, guys, later, that's my firecracker story.